purpose of this presentation is to demonstrate that workplace fraternization and socialization is not at all bad and brings many benefits to the organization. To fraternize, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is to be friendly or spend time with someone in a friendly way, especially when it is considered wrong or improper to do so. So too, when a child is born, he gradually is molded into a social being and learns certain ways of acting or feeling. Without this process of molding, the society could not continue itself, nor could culture exist, nor could the individual develop into a person. This process of molding is called socialization. Therefore, socialization is the process by which social beings establish wider and profounder relationships with one another, in which they become more bound up with and more perceptive of the personality of themselves and of others, and build up the complex structure of nearer and wider association. Fraternization can occur when people meet at work and begin getting close. Since the number of hours spent at work many times outweighs the hours spent at home, this makes people at work the most accessible for dating. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, women make up nearly 50% of the workforce in 2012. Compare that to 1950, when less than 30% of the workforce was women. Therefore, it stands to reason that as both genders become equally distributed in the workforce, there's a much greater chance you could meet your soulmate at work. The basic premise of sociology is that human existence is social existence. This means that people are linked to one another and depend on each other for their very existence. In fact, our sense of individual identity, that is, our sense of who and what we are, depends on how we interact with other people. Fraternizing and socializing are a normal course of action in human beings, and therefore efforts by organizations to promote policies against any form of socialization and fraternization is not only discriminatory, but goes against nature's natural calling. Employees often work in teams and build relationships among each other. Human beings are natural social creatures. We crave friendship and positive interactions just as we do food and water. So it makes sense that the better our relationships are at work, the happier and more productive we're going to be. Good working relationships give us several other benefits. Our work is more enjoyable when we have good relationships with those around us. Also, people are more likely to go along with the changes that we want to implement, and we're more innovative and creative. Close relationships among coworkers can foster enhanced communication and efficiency. It is therefore quite normal for relationships of all sorts to develop in the workplace. The more a group of people collaborate, the more significant the working relationships become. As working relationships become more comfortable and fluid, teams are better able to share and discuss ideas, which means the results will be increasingly successful. Office romances most often end in grief and are always highly complex with unforeseen complications and not a good idea. Warns Professor Michael Simpson, aka Cyber Shrink. He continues to stress that employees should really take time before engaging in any sort of fraternization at the office. He is quoted as saying, "The problem with divulging in this temptation is that it's really worth the trip." In other words, the draw of an office romance almost never rewards. Rather, it punishes with demotion, divorce, or loss of respect from friends, co-workers, and families. Like Professor Simpson, there are many who advocate for fraternization policies, which they say help employees understand where to draw the line with co-workers. However, can you take away the human element out of any individual? As employees continue to work diligently and the relationships remain professional at work, friendships and relationships should not interfere with normal operations at work. Therefore, I strongly oppose having to divulge details of my personal relationships, as some policies suggest, which breaches privacy, can be considered discriminatory, and allow an employer to dictate which relationships are appropriate and which are not in the workplace setting. Pressure, heat, and a long time period combine to produce the tightest bonds in nature, the diamond. The conditions for bonding a personal diamond are common in today's business. It is not surprising that men and women develop close friendships with each other and turn to one another for emotional support. There's a direct example of a small financial institution in Dominica of only 38 employees. There are two happily married couples employed at the bank, as well as others who engage in close friendships and relationships that only fosters an environment where collaboration is prominent. As long as a relationship between two equal employees remains appropriate while they are at work, there is no reason why it should not be allowed. While an employer can choose to have an unprofessional relationship with his employees, this is not at all desirable, as it creates ample opportunity for everyone involved to take advantage of the situation. As in all things, the solution to employee fraternization and socialization is to simply use good judgment.